Well, good afternoon, everybody. And really, it's supper time, dinner time. So it's good evening, everybody. I have spent the last hours, all afternoon, making strawberry rhubarb jam and jelly. So I started making strawberry rhubarb jelly years ago when I very first got my steam juicer. Because my brother, though he loves strawberry and rhubarb together, he doesn't like the texture of the jam. It's just something about it he doesn't like. And so I told him, well, I'll just make you some jelly too. Well, it's been a hit. Everybody likes it too, just like the jam. So we're going to make both of those this afternoon. And I don't know if you're a jam or a jelly, is your favorite, but I like both. So behind me is a jelly. It just came out of the water bath. And so those jars are hot and they've been pinging. Over on the other counter, 25 jars of strawberry rhubarb jam. It's fabulous. So many jars to give away. I might sell a few jars. I can always put it on Facebook. It's always scrumptious. But let's go make some. We should start with the recipe first for the jam. 4 cups of rhubarb, 4 cups of strawberries, 2 teaspoons of calcium water, 1/4 a cup of lemon or lime juice. I use lime juice today. 4 cups of sugar, 3 teaspoons of pectin, and 3 tablespoons of butter. Now, in my recipe, I'm actually going to multiply that 4 times. And that's the nice thing about this type of pectin. You can double it, triple it, quadruple it, and it still will set. So I went out into the garden and I picked a bunch of rhubarb. And I still have more rhubarb. And then my strawberries aren't ready, so I did have to go buy strawberries, and I'm just going to slice them up. The thickness really depends on you, but I have to slice both the rhubarb, chop that up, and the strawberries. So I'm going to go through, and I am going to do 4 containers of these strawberries so that I can have a lot, and I'll show you when I get them all chopped up. So here they are. Actually a little more than 12 cups. It's about 14 cups of strawberries, just because I love strawberries in there. And I did the same with rhubarb. The way I look at it is the total amount of cups of strawberries and rhubarbs, I'm going to use half that amount of sugar. So I'm going to mix those, and when I get those into the pot, I realize that pot is not big enough. So I'm going to have to go downstairs and get a different pot. So now we're in a bigger pot, so I can mix it up easy without everything flying all over the place. Now, with a regular recipe, the recipe I gave you at the beginning, I would put 1 cup of water in the bottom, just because it takes it a little while for it to start to cook and make its own juices. Now I have to add my calcium in there, and because I'm quadrupling the recipe, I am putting more in than what the original recipe is. But at the end, I will have about 25 jelly jars full of strawberry rhubarb jam. And so it's a matter of stirring it. I have my stove on about medium. You don't want it too low, but not too high because you don't want to burn it. And I'm going to add my sugar, and the pectin is mixed in with that sugar already. And so that way you don't really have the lumps that you would otherwise. Sometimes you have lumps anyway, and you just have to work them out. And then I'll incorporate that sugar and pectin all in there. But because I added that 4 cups of water, which you would only be doing 1 cup because not everybody's going to quadruple it, you just want to mix that up. And then because it's on medium heat, it does take a little while, but it's really important that you get that rhubarb to break down. The strawberry pieces don't have to break down, but you do want the rhubarb to break down. Now there's a lot of colors of rhubarb. Green, red, pink, there's actually yellow rhubarb. But here it is. But it hasn't, so you can see the rhubarb is still intact. It hasn't started breaking down. But after it has, then I'm putting it in my jelly jars. It's extremely hot. I've wiped the rim, and I'm going to put it on, and I actually am going to do that finger tight, a little bit tighter than what you see me doing it. So let's make the jelly while the other is canning. So this is my steam juicer, so I'm dumping all the rhubarb in there, and I'm going to add a little bit of sugar just because it will help it when it's steaming and breaking it down. So I just have my total amount of sugar that I'm going to use, and it's the same recipe as the jelly, or as the jam, excuse me. So then I put the strawberries on it, and I'm going to add a little bit of sugar on top of that. Because even though I mix it around the top a little bit, I'm not actually incorporating the rhubarb and the strawberries. I'm just kind of spreading that sugar on. And I'll put the lid on. So this is a steam juicer. The bottom part is a reservoir. That has the water. The middle part is where it steams it, and then it has the cylinder with the holes for the fruit. So this is what it looks like when it starts to steam. And that hose, the liquid comes out of the hose. And so then you have to have something to catch it. So I have a big stock pot that I'm just going to put on that little step stool. And you have to keep dumping it out or the reservoir gets too full. So there it is. I'm just draining some of it. Now I'm using lime juice today. You could use lemon juice. I've used lemon juice lots of times. And here is my beautiful juice from my strawberries and the rhubarb. It's a great color. It smells fantastic. And I already have put the calcium water in, and now I'm putting in the sugar with the pectin in there. And I can see right now I didn't mix it well enough because there are pieces of pectin. And if you really mix it, incorporate it in the sugar, you don't have that. But it's easy to work out. I'll actually get my whisk and I'll break some of that up and it will incorporate into it. It's not anything that you have to worry about. Now I'll have it on medium heat so that it will heat up nicely without burning on the bottom. Now the pectin really will set that up pretty quickly. And so once it starts boiling, I just check it with my spoon, and when it starts at all to look like it's gotten thick, I'm ready to pour it into the jars. So let's just stir that up, and we are going to check it in just a couple minutes. So I am at that point, everything is incorporated. It's actually really pretty hot, and I'm going to put my butter in there. The reason why I use butter is because I don't want all that foam. And it's just an easy trick to get rid of some of that foam. So here they are, all ready to go into the water bath. And I have some real short squatty ones and some regular jelly jars. It's just beautiful. I love the color that it makes. It's clear. It'll sit on my counter for 24 hours. And here's the jam also. There's 25 jars of that. And it is a good afternoon of making jams and jellies. Well, it's jam or it's jelly or it's both. And I have to tell you, my kitchen is hot this afternoon. My counters are filled with dishes that have to be washed. But I'm going to let it cool down a little bit and my jars cool before I start doing dishes. But I hope you try making some jam or jelly, even if you've never tried it before. You know, they're water bathed, they're easy to do, and your family will love them. And why not use the harvest out of your gardens? As a homesteader in the suburbs, or as a homesteader anytime, making your own jams and jellies is one of those ways to use the produce that you're growing in your yard. And I have lots more rhubarb. And so I am going to be making some pies and crumbles. And I always like to freeze a lot of it too so I can use it later on. But I hope you enjoyed my jam and my jelly of strawberry and rhubarb. And I will see you next time. Bye everybody.